All right, good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, October 18, 2024. Our goal here is to review the market generated information in a holistic fashion. We're intimately following the options narrative of both ES and NQ. If we have time, we'll theorize and add additional commentary towards the end. There is a upload of today's session. It is just a DOM, no live commentary, nothing like that. Check it out if you like. All right, perfect. So today is going to be a little quicker. It was just an inside day. Minimal expectations on the S&P 500 as well as the Nasdaq. Essentially, they really just wanted to create a lower high, which they did. So again, the goal for the buyers for the S&P 500 was just really close above this 50% and a higher low. They were able to complete that. Just understanding where we're coming from. At least, again, this is Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. We had our Monday rise up, our engulfing day, some semi-engulfing day on Tuesday, and essentially we're just grinding upwards. We were able to pierce that all-time high, and then we were rejected and came all the way back in. Ideally, the bulls just wanted to keep price moving upwards, which they did. Similar situation for the NQ, except they're not at all-time highs, of course. Same rise on Monday, engulf Tuesday, and then a bit sloppier, but still grinding up Wednesday, Thursday, and then a higher low on Friday as well. Both inside bars for today. Again, we didn't really have too much for earnings. At most, this was just really the completion of the few of the banks, and then the American Express, Procter and Gamble as well. Next week we'll have a little bit more for sure. As far as the actual catalyst for the day, we had a little bit of a Fed speakers speak today. Really not too much, just small data at the 5:30 mark. So again, really mild day. The NQ 210 points of range, extremely light volume, some of the lightest that we've seen in months. And the delta, the negative was 2,700, ended at 2,600. Not the best positioning for sellers. Again, buyers were easily able to push price upwards. No real trading to the downside, as we can see with a P-ish shape for the profile. 40 points of range for the S&P 500. Same case for the light volume overall, and really not too much to say for the delta. Just poor positioning for the sellers. Buyers didn't have to work hard at all. No real trading near the lows. Volume point of control is near the highs, at least that top quarter, that is. The sector tracker, we're up 40 basis points. Everyone did well, so really nothing that really sticks out here. Just a bit light volume just across the board for the ES and the Nasdaq. 870,000 for the S&P 500, and then about half of that for the Nasdaq at 380. Less than half, actually. Really not too much to speak about for the sectors. Everyone did well, but energy, the lightweight sector, even looking at the 5 day, we're up 85 basis points. Technology is almost unchanged. Outside of that, shout out to the banks for doing a solid job and really keeping the market afloat, while the technology and healthcare was able to take a break. And a good job for everyone else. Consumer discretionary is catching back up as well. All right, we'll look at the market profiles. Really not too much to look at. It's just an inside day. Just a reminder of where we are. This is that 20K 200 figure. We indeed pushed up. We have pulled back. And now we're kind of holding above this 20K 400 mark. Again, this was a P shape for the profile. And I mean, really, that's it. They were able to push above the weekly VPOC, which was near 20K 360. If we merge this together, they're able to push above. Now we have a new VPOC, which was near the 20K, almost 500 mark. So the fact that they're building volume higher is definitely a good sign for the NASDAQ. It's not the prettiest, but they're building volume. What do you want them to do? You know, all-time highs S&P 500, P-ish shape profile, The volume point of control for the weekly was near these under the 5900. We finished today above the 5900. So that leaves the VPOC around this 5910 mark for this week. So again, solid day. Each week we're building volume higher. Notice that this week the VPOC is near the highs. For the month, it's near the lows at 5760. If you merge these together for the S&P 500, the most volume is still traded near these lows, though it's in close contention with near these highs. So we have a lot of people willing to buy higher prices, and in the past, there were people willing to sell lower. But if we look at this from a recent standpoint, that has not been the case. All that volume was done here early in the beginning of the month, and we've had higher highs and higher lows for the entire time since then. No singles to report on either of the days. Again, really not much to look at. Just a quick glimpse what this looks like on the NASDAQ. Shot down, pushed into those 200s, got rejected, pushed back up, and now we're building volume above those 400s, which is exactly what the NASDAQ needed to do. Again, it's not in sexy fashion, but the NASDAQ is getting the job done. Same thing with the S&P 500, not really too much to talk about. We have those singles that were below us. They were able to kill some of those singles from like earlier in the week. But once we pushed through those singles, we based, pushed up, no real pullback lower. We just pulled back to really the top of this consolidation range, pushed that new high. And now we're just kind of consolidating, moving a bit sideways, or channeling, if you will. Same S&P 500. Again, we've been trying to keep an eye on how many trend days we had. We had a trend day here, trend day here, trend day here. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, not so much. Friday, kind of. Higher highs and higher lows for the most part. So not really the ideal trend day, but prices gradually going higher. Straight consolidation for the NQ. Not necessarily a bear flag. We're just doing a lot of volume. Actually, probably a little better to do since this really this Tuesday drop. We really just pushed down pretty low. Really just moving sideways for this most part. So not really a bear flag. NQ and ES just a little different. It's kind of hard to put your finger on it, but the NQ appears to be doing a decent job from what we can see. All right, we'll go ahead and look at the NQ again once more. We had our Thursday session, which was the push above in the overnight, and then the liquidation for Thursday. With that liquidation, we began to push the overnight sessions. Steep sell-off, rejected, small pullback, push back through above the prior day's IB mid, which is where we opened. So we opened literally in the middle of the the initial balance from yesterday. So we had an open auction. Actually, let me take out the overnight. So this is just the RTH session. I wouldn't call that a bear flag. We're just really consolidating, just two-way trading. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because this is just two-way trading. Consolidation to the right a little bit, impulse through, pull back into that range, create a new high, pull back into that range, coiling, test back at this open, create this new high, push back down to this open through the VWAPs, tried to make a new high and failed, push back through this open, tried to make a new high, failed to get to the initial balance high, push back to the open, and we finished somewhere in the middle. Completely horrid to trade. I'm not even gonna try to find a trade into this. Definitely, I'll take that back. Let me not say that. I don't want to be disparaging to price action when they're working. Not every day is gonna be beautiful, but you can definitely kind of scalp these highs for the most part, which I did in real time. But I mean, that's not something I want to really want to make a play for. It's all kind of in real time you had to kind of see how this goes. Ideally, more of this situation here. Once we push through, you have to really look through this at the look at the DOM, which we do have recorded, so you can kind of go back and look at it yourself. But yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to say there's any trades there. Same situation here for the ES. Again, ES was through their all-time highs, completely rejected and pushed all the way down. And that's where we had our push lower in the overnight session, completely raised back up. But they did not make it through their prior IB mid. They only pushed above their IB low and got about halfway there. So as we are halfway into the prior day's initial balance, which is right there, we open here, unable to reclaim this overnight high, completely pushed down. Ideally, this looked like an open drive in real time. However, it was short lived and we pushed back through, could not make it to the open again. But we pulled back into their range, same situation, tried to pull back to the open, couldn't make it, pulled back into this range, IB mid and these VWAPs, 5 smooth and average, just a lot of cluster, So just a lot of chop. We saw slow grinding upwards, which is a little irritating trade. As soon as we pierce through, we can't stay above, pull back to the open, but they're really holding this open for the most part. Push back through, finally made it through the overnight high, engulfed. Can't get back into the HOD, and then they push through this open and back to the VWAPs. One more high to end the day, no kind of trading above, and ended up closing after another leg lower back to the initial balance high. So again, they finished balance for the most part, definitely with an upward skew for the S&P 500, not so much for the NASDAQ. So again, it's going to be a bit of a shorter one this week. I mean, a shorter one for this day. It's really nothing to talk about. I mean, it was just an inside bar, and this is not a weekly review. So how well of a job the buyers did, honestly, I'm just going to give everybody a 5. No one really did anything today. Maybe a 5.5 for the S&P 500, and maybe a 4.5 for the buyers on the NASDAQ. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and cut it short there. We're definitely looking forward to next week. Next week is going to be a bit more for the earnings and a bit more for the data as well. So we'll go ahead and cut it there. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend and take care.